What's up, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in. This is the Crawford Box Recap, and I'm one of your hosts, PK. Homer Chris is with us, and Sweet B Bones Bryles has graced us with his presence after a few day hiatus. Fellas, how y'all?
I'm back.
Yeah, man. What a way to bounce back after a complete embarrassment that was last night. The Astros come back and just throw a couple haymakers of their own. I mean, so outside of not wanting to talk about last night and the debacle that was, hey, at least we have something fantastic to talk about tonight. But Browse, how's your day going?
Good, man. Thank you guys for holding down the fort while I was doing some family stuff for this Easter weekend and Good Friday. So yeah, no, it was today was a good game to watch. Yesterday was pretty much unwatchable. If you if you didn't stick around and watch it, I get it. I know you guys talked about it, but that was a tough one today. Completely different story. So I'm ready to get into this one for sure.
Yeah, no, last night was a complete freaking disaster, and it started with Javier and his lack of being able to get anybody out, throwing batting practice fastballs. And then it ended with a pop-up that was not caught by Yiner. And that, for me, after they scored off of that, extra out, I was like, okay, all right, I guess we're just going to watch this just to see. And, but look, man, that was last night. We all freaked out last night. We're all pissed off. And then today they pulled the Dumb and Dumber and they totally redeemed themselves today.
That's right. That's right.
So, Imai took the hill today for his second start of the season. Look, dude, 5 and 2/3. I got this. 5 and 2/3, 3 hits, no runs, 9 Ks, 3 walks, and he also threw 3 different sliders that broke 3 different directions. So, if y'all haven't seen those on X, I really highly suggest that you go find those posts and watch a slider from a right-hand pitcher break to the right out of a right-handed pitcher, right? That was the first backward slider. I guess technically it could be kind of a screwball.
Yeah, I was gonna say this kind of sounds like a screwball.
But on the broadcast, it picks up the spin as a slider, right? And then he had a slider that broke top to bottom, which would be more of a curveball, but still it was shown as a slider. Then he had another one, traditional, right, from left to right or from right to left. So, but the big thing, there's so much to unpack here, man. Like, this was a fantastic game. They did today what we kind of expected them to do for this whole series. Now we still have tomorrow's game, to finish out. But this was an offensive explosion. And Chris's stat, he's probably going to give you runners in scoring position at some point. Even with that number, if you score half, you still should probably put up 17 runs today. Is what it could have been easily.
Yeah, no, I agree, and that's actually a pretty good segue because the first 2 innings, their average runners and score, there were 1 for 7. So pretty much, if you erase that, they ended up being 7 for 22. So that would have put them at 6 for 15, which is a little over about right around 340 or something like that. But hey, talking about Imai, we discussed it on Thursday. Him as well as Burrows, what we spoke about, really kind of needed that bounce back start, and I think a lot of it is the fact that he was nervous that very first start against what was that, Boston or the Angels, whoever he pitched against. I think it was the Angels. So I think what we saw today was a little bit more confident, a little bit more calmed down. He trusted his stuff, and he just went out there and threw. I mean, so pitching wise, and then you had Tang follow up after him, and then the guys, the Astros shut out the Athletics. I mean, so regardless if it was 1 pitcher, 2 pitchers, 3 pitchers, the pitching was good enough to where that offense who just put up 11 runs the night before was completely, snake bitten. They were done. So I'm sure we'll get into all of the offensive stars of today, but I just wanted, the thing that really stood out to me was the Imai start. Was how was he going to bounce back from his last start? We saw that Javier did not bounce back; he stayed back. But it was good to see Imai, take the proper steps he needed to take, and could basically say, "Hey, that first start was hot garbage. It was nerves. I'm going to go show you guys why you guys brought me over from Japan." And mission accomplished. He looked fantastic today.
Yeah, and speaking of the nerves, I think it definitely helps too when you've got the confidence that before you even step on the hill, you've got a 2-run lead. So that definitely helped them because we jumped on them in the very first inning. Peyton, you got the party started on that one. But yeah, it's think about that. It's like he's not only just going out there for a second start, trying to prove himself and show that, hey, look, I'm better than the first outing I had, but he's already got a lead. So I think that tremendously helped him out. And then, yeah, I know we're about to get into offense as well. But speaking of pitching, the A's did not have good pitching. Morales was on the mound for them. He looked absolutely terrible. He had, I think, what did they say, 6 or 7 walks before they ended up finally pulling him. And then for a team stat, they ended up, I believe, with 18. No, wait, how many walks do we have? 13. I'm sorry. 13 walks the whole day. The Astros got 13 free bases. So, I mean, when you get something like that, you know that the pitching's not going right on the other side. So, but anyway, PK, what you got?
Yeah, I saw a lot of posts about the A's have their own version of Christian Javier on their team in Morales. Oh man, that was good. No, yes, he look, Morales, to your point, Browse, he had 6 walks. Hell, 4 of those were to damn Jordan. 4 of them, right? Jordan goes 1 for 1 with a single and an RBI and 4 walks. So that's the treatment that this guy's getting on game 9 of the 2026 season. They don't want to pitch to him because when they did, and look, the single that he had was off the end of the bat. He didn't square it up, right? But when you pitch to him, he makes you pay, period. So, look, but to go back to Chris's 7 for 22, you left 17 guys, and I'm not trying to harp because we can laugh about it because you won 11-0, right? And the point of me telling you that they left 17 guys on base goes back to my initial point of if you scored half of those guys, that's 17-0. This is the type of game that we had today. I mean, hell, Altuve came up. I think he had 12 or 14 guys on base between all of his at bats today. I know he came up to the plate with bases loaded 2 different times. Right now, he only had 1 RBI, and this is not like it's a shame thing. It's just this is the type of day that the Astros offense had. The 13 walks that Bryles talked about, with Jordan having 4 of them just by himself, right? With how much traffic that the Astros put on the bases from the jump. I mean, Christian Vasquez, he ends up going 3 for 6, right? Now, 2 of his hits were excuse me hits, right? He hit one up into the sun that I thought was going to, peg the left fielder, but he dropped it. And then another one where his was a third base to Muncy, and then the ball stayed down instead of coming up. But and then he also had a double later in the game. I mean, Loperfido needs to be in this freaking lineup daily.
Agree.
No, I agree
on that one.
Absolutely. I mean, you kind of beat me to the punch. I mean, the stats between today's stats between Loperfido and Christian Walker were completely mind blowing. I think between the both of them, they were like 6 for 9. I think they drove in like a total of like 6 runs. I mean, it's just like, holy crap. Has this season completely flip flopped to where it was this point last season? I think I saw a graphic somewhere that through 8 games last year, the Astros were hitting like 188. Now, granted, they're only hitting like, one, or I think it was like 249 as that graphic showed. But the run difference is just mind blowing. Like you had 17 last year to 45 this year. Yeah. And then that's not including the 11 they put up today. I mean, but like, and we've been talking about this almost every day. I mean, like, the fact that they bought into this new hitting approach, I mean, right now, again, like it's almost like we're beating a dead horse. You're seeing the benefits of hey, we're not going to go, hacking. I mean, hell, even Yainer Diaz had a couple of good at bats. He had a big RBI single that he had. I mean, but they're not. This is a completely different team, than what we saw offensively last season. And maybe it's because you got the big man in the middle of the line or batting second. I'm pretty sure Boston is probably smacking themselves saying maybe we should have walked him 4 times instead of, throwing him meatballs, sliders down the middle. I mean, but yeah, I mean, like it's been fun to watch. I mean, like outside of last night, which, those games are gonna happen. But man, like outside of last night, I mean, this offense has been absolutely a blast to watch because it's like you don't know at what moment you're going to go from 1 run being scored to like 7 runs being scored. And this offense is completely, I think, if you're any of these other major media outlets like for New York, Boston, Los Angeles, I think the Astros are sending out a message saying, "Hey, last year's Astros are dead. Y'all are going to have to deal with this Astros." And you brought up Loperfido. I mean, adding him to this lineup and what he's done so far, dude. Like I'm with you. Give him the at bats against lefties. See what he can do against lefties.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. And to the point about Jordan and the fact that he's getting respect, I mean, he's hitting 423 after today's game for the season. So if he can keep that up and still hit with power, assuming he sees pitches, that's going to be fantastic. The one I also wanted to touch on too, though, was Christian Walker, because he looks like he's on a mission right now, and he's on a mission to prove everybody wrong. So if he can keep this up, good Lord, man, that would be fantastic. But he, in the past, he's been kind of streaky as far as his hitting's concerned. But it looks like whatever adjustments he made in the offseason, they're definitely working. Because, I mean, he looked fantastic today. Of course, Loperfido looked great today. And then whatever got into them, maybe it was the loss from the previous day. But whatever got into them today, they were ready to come out and fight. And they actually did it. So anyway, fun game to watch. That is for sure, man.
Yeah, look, Walker was a triple away from the cycle today.
That's
the kind of game he had. And Chris, you're right. Like him and Loperfido were 6 for 9. They scored 5 runs. They had 4 RBIs. They had 3 walks, right? I mean, they struck out twice total, right? But those 2 guys, and Loperfido, dude, he's going oppo and pull side. He is literally hitting the ball where it's pitched. And I think his first at bat, he walked before he even got the hit and a double later. He hit a double down the left field line that was a ground rule double, then a single, I think, to right center. So, like, the dude, when he comes in, gets on base. Cam Smith, he had a pinch hit, I guess, technically, because he came in for Jordan. He hit a bomb on 3-0. They gave him the green light on 3-0, and he hit a towering shot. But again, that's just the type of day that offensively, that's the runs from today made up for the BS that happened last night. Is still kind of the way I looked at it, right? Is like you didn't take advantage of going up against Springs last night, and like winning that first game. Now Javier didn't do you any favors, but today was, this is the team that we've been seeing the last 4 games prior to Friday night. Is this putting up runs? They put, and so this is what we expect to see. And I think the guys as a whole, their confidence is so high, knowing, and not because of the 11 today, right? But you went up against Crochet in Boston and Ranger in Boston, and you put up runs there. It's a different team, man. Because you put it perfectly, dude. It's a different team from 25, and besides the obvious, but from a hitting perspective, it is a completely different team with a lot of the same guys. I mean, Jordan's back, obviously. That's a huge thing. But think about really, like the team is returning offensively. Except for Vasquez and Loperfido's back, but he was there for half the season, right? But essentially, it's the same team from last year, but they're completely different offensively, and it's badass to see.
Yeah, and if you look up and down this box score for the Astros, everybody did something in a positive manner. I mean, whether it was working a walk, whether it was, I think the only guys, I guess maybe you could say Nick Allen, pinch hit and struck out. But besides that, you look up and down the rest of this box score. Everybody did something. Everybody either got a hit, or when they came in and pinch hit, they worked a walk. So yeah, it was a fun game to watch, especially like you said, after the crap we had to watch last night. So it was definitely a good bounce back. I would have just been happy if they won. The fact that they came out there and shellacked them, I think that again, made a statement saying, listen, this isn't the same team that's going to drop a bunch of games to the teams that we should beat. Yeah, they got one on us. They threw us a couple of surprise haymakers last night. but now we're going for the 6-piece combo, and hopefully that carries over to tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I wanted some more runs so a position player would pitch. That's what I wanted.
that would have been fun to watch.
It's like when you're up 11-0, then you bring in Munoz, and not when you're down 6-0.
That's right.
Yeah, that would have been helpful. But yeah, no, the other one that I did want to touch on too was Christian Vasquez. Now that he's been back, he's looked really good at the plate too. So he's hitting over 300 right now, even with the limited at bats he's got. But to your point though, like everybody was just teeing off today, and these guys look completely different from last year. Just like you said, Chris, this is like I don't know what they ended up doing in the offseason to get ramped up like this, but I like it. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, no, I'll take it. Tomorrow we go for the series win. LMJ's on the hill. See how he's going to come back after his insanely amazing season debut against, was it against Boston? Was it against Boston?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
it was against Boston.
We'll see. Tomorrow, I think we all picked 2-1. So we're either all going to win or we're all going to lose, and in our season predictions. So, but we will be back tomorrow for our regular episode time, 7:30. But I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you everyone for giving us support, for interacting with us on our social platforms. We will be back tomorrow for our regular weekend wrap up as we get ready to go to Colorado on Monday. But until then, I'm PK, Homer Chris, Subi Bones Bryles. This is the Crawford Box Recap. Y'all have a good rest of your night.
And happy Easter, everyone.
And happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Man, 13 walks, that's like a Little League game. Trust me, we just lived that a couple games ago.
Exactly.